Good morning. This is a special weather briefing storm scoop for Sunday, August 2nd, 2020. We're going to take a look at the tropical system. It's still Hurricane Isaiah, but we will say it's really no longer what you would consider a hurricane, but we'll get into that now. So let's take a look at where we are. I'll adjust our map a little bit here. Sorry. So we are just off the coast of the islands, and excuse me, and it is weakened over the last 24 hours. So because it is weakened, it actually will be tugged a little further west. So we were thinking before that the eastern coast of Florida might get skirted with some impacts. It'll be a little more inland than previously thought, but the winds and rain won't be as substantial, especially the winds, as they were to be if this was a true hurricane. This is now pretty much a tropical storm, and the winds that we'll be dealing with will be tropical storm winds. So, but let's look at some of the rain as well. If we're looking at the greatest risk for flash flooding, that comes over the next 3 days. And again, the Carolina is going to get the brunt of the rain, but the storm will hold itself. And you can see the transition from the 3 days, and obviously Wednesday, Thursday, this finally pulls out, goes into the Maritimes. Still considered by models to be a tropical storm as it leaves the United States. Maybe a subtropical, we'll see. But it's a pretty good look at what to expect rainfall-wise. We'll look at precipitation totals in a moment. So you see, as our system heads north, it will decay back along the East Florida coast. It'll ride north. There's two streams here, you can see. They're going to come together and produce divergence, and it'll combine with coastal convergence, and they might re-strengthen from there, just right south of South Carolina, so keep an eye on them. See, this is tricky on this one. We have the lead cells rotating in, and they'll be gusty and sometimes severe. And then our wedge has been vacated by the nose. As you can see here, the crossing wind pushed it back. So maybe once the crossing winds lift, then the wedge fills back in. As it approaches Central Florida, we could get some of that strengthening, as I was talking about. But we'll have to keep an eye. And let's see. We're going to go here and talk about the dry air and shear. That's why this doesn't look like a hurricane. It's because I've been talking about dry air for 5 days. And we haven't talked too much about shear, but you can tell it's just been sheared out by upper level winds. Our little nose wedge again. Again, the majority of it is all the pretty colors that are spreading out. It's not a ball of rainfall under this. It's just the wedge. So I did want to go and look at the 850 millibars. And you can just see we have the wedge and the support aloft. More convergent forcing is disappearing, so the winds are dropping, but this is expected. So again, everything is in line. Here we have a radar. It's the western surface low and the eastern 850 low. They've started to come back together. In a great storm, you want the low stacked vertically, but we're not seeing that here. The alignment permits a turn up the coast, which is good, and the wedge should advance today and clip the coastal towns. So winds, we have a low mid-end tropical storm. That's what it is. It has been for a long time. You can't have wind at the surface if there's no wind aloft. So you'll have plenty of 45 knots, sustained winds, 50 miles per hour, that sort of thing. You might have some gusts to 65, 70, but this is not going to be a killer storm here, thank goodness. So let's see what else I have for you. 2 more things, and then I'll get into some totals. You can see the storm is shrunken, and it's weakened here at the 850. The winds are not favorable. So this is why you see some of the decays when you hit the land. You can just see here, we have all this path for going up the coast. It's there. It's perfect. That's what's going to happen. Expect it. This is the track. We have some rains here. This is just a total for the next 3 days. I'll move that over a little bit. Again, it goes right along that track I showed you, and we can say the same things for winds as well. Again, gusts up to maybe 70 in those rare spots, but 45, 50 mile per hour gusts will be the norm. But no real sustained winds of that note. So that's it for me. We'll be back tomorrow with the full update, and that's it from meteorologist Steve Krasnowski with weather briefings. Thank you.